Another morning at Ibrox, and the feeling around the club is completely different from what it was not so long ago. There is belief again, there is momentum, and there is that familiar sense that Rangers are starting to look like Rangers. 5 victories in a row do not happen by accident, especially when you consider the position the team was in before the change on the touchline. What we are seeing now is the impact of clear ideas, strong leadership, and players finally being put in a position to show what they can really do on the pitch. The win away in difficult conditions summed up this new Rangers side perfectly. Historically, those trips have been anything but straightforward, even for stronger squads than this one. Yet the team handled the challenge with maturity, organization, and a level of control that had been missing earlier in the campaign. Winning back-to-back matches against Aberdeen carries extra weight because everyone knows how much those games mean to them. Taking maximum points from those encounters sends a strong message not just to the league, but to the dressing room itself. Individually, several players are starting to show noticeable improvement. At the back, the defensive structure looks far more settled, with better communication and sharper decision-making. Fernandez, in particular, has grown into his role and is showing real authority, while others who arrived in the summer are finally delivering performances that match expectations. Even players who are not finding the net every week are contributing in different ways, working harder, pressing smarter, and making better choices in possession. That is where the coaching influence becomes impossible to ignore. Confidence has returned, and with it, freedom. Players are taking responsibility instead of hiding, and that shift in mentality is often the hardest thing to achieve. When a group starts believing again, results tend to follow, and that is exactly what has happened over the last run of fixtures. The challenge now is not just winning, but sustaining this level and building on it as the season moves forward. Looking ahead, the schedule offers both opportunity and pressure. The Scottish Cup always demands respect, and upcoming European matches still carry significance regardless of outside opinions. As long as there is a mathematical chance, Rangers have to approach those games with full intensity. The focus inside the club is clear: keep the run going, integrate new faces properly, and avoid slipping back into old habits that cost points earlier in the season. January, of course, brings its own storyline, and once again, Rangers are active. An official approach has been made for a wide player who is well regarded on the continental stage. This is not speculation built on whispers, but a move that reflects genuine intent. The player in question is entering his prime years, under contract for the long term, and hungry for a fresh chapter after limited opportunities recently. Crucially, his absence from his current squad was not due to injury but circumstance, which only adds fuel to the discussion. The structure of the deal being explored suggests a loan with serious ambition behind it, potentially opening the door for something more permanent down the line. Rangers have gone down this road before with success, and when done correctly, these moves can transform a season. The financial reality of modern football means creativity is essential, and securing quality without immediate long-term commitment can be a smart way to strengthen the squad while keeping options open. From a footballing perspective, the numbers speak loudly enough. His output in previous leagues shows consistency, intelligence in wide areas, and an eye for decisive moments. That kind of profile fits exactly what Rangers have been missing at times this season, especially against deep blocks where invention and movement are vital. A player like this does not arrive simply to make up numbers. He arrives to compete, to raise standards, and to push others to be better. Alongside 3 potential arrivals, there is also growing appreciation for the development happening within the current squad. Young players are being trusted, tested, and challenged in an environment where expectations are relentless. And that experience cannot be replicated anywhere else. For an 18-year-old playing regularly under pressure in front of demanding crowds and in matches where every point matters, accelerates growth in ways training alone never could. The transformation in confidence among the younger members of the squad is clear to see. Earlier struggles could have derailed their progress, but instead they have responded, showing resilience and maturity beyond their years. Big performances in big matches have a lasting impact, and moments like scoring in a derby live with a player forever, those experiences shape careers, and Rangers, once again, are providing a platform where talent can turn into genuine quality. Behind the scenes, the atmosphere feels healthier, calmer, and more focused. Players talk about clarity, about understanding their roles, and about enjoying their football again. That does not remove pressure, but it channels it in a productive way. When everyone is pulling in the same direction, progress becomes visible, not just in results, but in performances, body language, and belief across the club. What comes next will define the season. Momentum can be fragile, especially during a congested period filled with decisive matches and transfer speculation. Maintaining intensity, managing expectations, and continuing to make smart decisions on and off the pitch will be crucial. Rangers are not finished yet, and there is a growing sense that this team still has another level to reach as confidence builds and competition for places increases. As the momentum builds, attention naturally turns to how this squad evolves over the coming weeks, because this phase of the season often separates sides that simply enjoy a good run from those that truly change their trajectory. Rangers are entering a stretch where consistency will be tested relentlessly, and every decision from team selection to in-game management carries extra weight. The recent performances have raised expectations, and with that comes a different kind of pressure, one that demands maturity and focus from everyone involved. One of the most encouraging aspects has been how the team now reacts within matches. Earlier in the campaign, setbacks felt terminal, a single mistake often leading to chaos. Now there is composure. When Rangers concede territory or face a physical spell from the opposition, they regroup instead of unravel. That is a subtle change, but a massive one, and it speaks to a growing trust in the system and in each other. Football at this level is as much about mentality as it is about talent, and that balance is finally starting to look right. The midfield has been central to that shift. Movement off the ball is sharper, passing lanes are being created rather than forced, and transitions look more controlled. This has allowed the wide players to stay higher and more dangerous, stretching defenses and creating space through the middle. When Rangers move the ball with purpose instead of panic, the entire team benefits, and the tempo of matches starts to suit them rather than the opponent. Defensively, there is still work to be done, but the foundations are stronger. The line is better organized, recovery runs are more consistent, and there is a clear understanding of when to press and when to drop. Clean sheets will not come every week, especially in demanding competitions, but reducing chaos moments has already paid dividends. Confidence at the back feeds confidence everywhere else, and that connection is now visible. The potential arrival of another attacking option could elevate this side further. Depth is not a luxury, it is a necessity, particularly when domestic and European commitments collide. Fresh competition for places sharpens focus and prevents complacency, and the best Rangers teams of the past were built on exactly that principle. No one should feel comfortable, and no one should feel discarded either. It is about balance, trust, and clear communication. Equally important is how younger players are being managed during this run. They are learning quickly that consistency matters more than moments, that performing once is not enough, and that standards do not drop because of age. Being part of a winning environment accelerates learning, but it also exposes flaws faster. That can be uncomfortable, yet it is essential if these players are to fulfill their potential at a club where expectation never fades. The dressing room dynamic appears healthier as well. Leadership is emerging naturally, not forced, and voices are being heard at the right times. Experience and youth are complementing each other rather than clashing. When senior players set the tone and younger ones respond with energy and ambition, the whole group becomes harder to play against. That unity is often invisible from the outside, but it is felt in every challenge, every sprint, and every reaction after the final whistle. Supporters, too, can sense the shift. There is noise again, belief again, and a connection that had been strained is slowly being repaired. Ibrox has always been a demanding place, but when the crowd feels commitment and direction, the response is powerful. Players feed off that energy, especially during difficult spells in matches, and it can turn tight moments into defining ones over the course of a season. Looking forward, the key will be managing expectations without losing ambition. Winning runs end eventually, but what matters is how a team responds when that moment arrives. Rangers must ensure that the standards set during this spell do not disappear at the first sign of adversity. That is the true test of progress, not how high the peak is, but how stable the level becomes over time. There is still a long way to go, and nothing has been secured yet. League positions can change quickly, cups demand ruthless focus, and Europe punishes mistakes without mercy. Yet there is a renewed sense that Rangers are once again building something with purpose. Every match now feels like part of a bigger picture, rather than a desperate attempt to fix yesterday's problems. The coming weeks will reveal more about the character of this squad than any press conference ever could. How they handle rotation, how they respond to setbacks, and how they integrate new faces will define the narrative of the season. But now the signs are encouraging, the belief is growing, and the feeling around the club is one of quiet determination rather than false hype, with everyone aware that the real work is still unfolding. That determination is reflected on the training ground, where intensity has reportedly lifted and sessions are sharper, more competitive, and more purposeful. Players know that places are no longer guaranteed, and that edge often makes the difference as the season grinds on. When standards rise internally, performances tend to stabilize externally, and that is exactly what Rangers will be aiming for as fixtures start to come thick and fast. Another factor that cannot be ignored is how tactical flexibility is starting to appear within matches. Rangers are no longer locked into one way of playing, regardless of circumstance. Subtle adjustments, whether in shape or pressing triggers, are allowing the team to adapt without losing identity. That ability to read games and respond in real time has been missing in recent seasons, and its return adds another layer of belief among the players. In the wider context of Scottish football, this run also sends a message that Rangers are not content with short-term improvement. There is a sense that the club wants to re-establish authority, not just through results, but through control of matches and sustained pressure on opponents. That ambition demands patience because progress is rarely linear, but the direction of travel now feels far clearer. than it did earlier in the campaign. As the squad continues to evolve, the emphasis remains on collective responsibility rather than individual heroics. Goals can come from different areas, defensive work starts from the front, and every player understands the demands placed upon them. When that balance is struck, Rangers become far harder to predict and far harder to stop, setting the stage for the challenges that lie immediately ahead. There is a sense now that the foundations are finally being laid properly. Performances are aligning with results, recruitment is supporting the manager's vision, and young players are developing within a clear structure. The journey is far from complete, but the direction feels right. Each match adds another layer of belief, another reason for optimism, and another opportunity for this Rangers side to show that the difficult period earlier in the season has forged resilience rather than regret. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. James Bisgrove has sent a ripple of intrigue through Scottish football after what is being whispered as a bombshell revelation involving Rangers. The Ibrox chief, usually measured and corporate in tone, is said to have lifted the lid on conversations and internal thinking that few outside the boardroom believed were even taking place. While nothing has been formally confirmed, the mere suggestion has been enough to set the rumour mill spinning from Govan to the Granite City. According to sources close to the situation, Bisgrove's words hinted at a decisive shift in how Rangers see their future, both on and off the park. There is talk of a long-term strategy that could reshape the club's identity, finances, and standing within the Scottish game. Some insiders believe this could involve external investment. Others whisper about structural change at executive level, and a few even suggest a rethink of how Rangers position themselves beyond domestic competition. What makes the speculation all the more compelling is the timing. Rangers are perceived to be at a crossroads, balancing tradition with modern pressures. Bisgrove's alleged comments have been interpreted by some as a warning shot, by others as a statement of ambition. Supporters are split between excitement and unease, with many asking whether this is the bold leadership the club needs or a risky gamble that could unsettle already delicate dynamics. Around the game in Scotland, rival clubs and commentators are watching closely. Rangers rarely move quietly, and when a senior figure speaks with such apparent candor, it tends to mean something is brewing. For now, there is only conjecture, carefully worded denials, and knowing smiles from those who claim to be in the loop, until Bisgrove or the club choose to clarify matters. This revelation remains firmly in the realm of rumour. Yet, in Scottish football, rumours have a habit of becoming reality, and the sense lingers that Rangers may be on the brink of a chapter that few saw coming. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned